Hi everybody, Rochelle here from Quebec, CICHLID. Today I'm going to be showing you 5 fish you can mix with African cichlids and 5 fish you should avoid. So stay tuned! So before we get started, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. I've been making videos for years and there are plenty of new videos to come, so make sure not to miss a single one. Also, if you don't know me, my name is Rochelle and I own a local fish store in Terrebonne, Quebec. That's right outside of Montreal. We're open to the public, so if ever you're around, just don't hesitate to swing by during our opening hours. Enough business. Let's get down to business. Just so you know, when I'm talking about African cichlids, I actually mean Rift Lake African cichlids. Those are the cichlids from lakes Malawi, Tanganyika, and Victoria. There are plenty of other African cichlids, some that can be mixed, some that can't, but we'll be seeing those in the video. Rift Lake African cichlids are complex, and they're renowned to being aggressive, especially the infamous Mbuna. When they're mixed with compatible fish, though, you are able to make any cichlid tank harmonious. So this being said, Rift Lake African cichlids should be treated differently than other African cichlids because, well, not only for the behavior, but they do live in different water parameters. So the pH, GH, and KH are a lot higher for Rift Lake African cichlids than for the Riverine cichlids. Now, when you're mixing fish, always make sure that you have the right tank size for the ones you want to add. So even if, let's say, frontosas and peacocks are compatible, don't add a frontosa in a 75-gallon peacock tank. It's just too small. Basic Plecos and Plecos Ancistrus are the 2 safest algae eaters to add to your African cichlid tank. They will easily adapt to your water parameters, even if they're very different from those that they would be living in the wild. Steer clear of fancy Plecos. These usually will have trouble adapting to the African cichlids' water parameters, especially the pH, as most of these live in acidic water. So before purchasing a fancy Pleco, just research their appropriate water parameters. Also, avoid long-fin Plecos with Mbunas, as the Mbunas might eat the Plecos' fins. Most loaches, especially Botia lohachata and Botia striata, or any other similar loaches, are fun to keep in an African cichlid tank. They can easily defend themselves against any African cichlid aggression and will adapt easily to the water parameters. The best part about these loaches is they have a healthy appetite for aquarium snails. So if you have a melanoid infestation, they will eat them all up and grow really fast. As for clown loaches, many aquarists keep them with African cichlids successfully. My problem with them is that they don't adapt easily to the water parameters and have a high chance of developing ick. So if you found a loach that is used to African cichlid water parameters like the high pH and GH, there's less risk of them getting sick. But if you aren't equipped for dealing with ick, I suggest that you steer clear of this fish. Also avoid coolie loaches because they are so tiny they'll just get eaten up right away. Whether you have the Synodontis that lives in the Great Lakes, such as a petricola or multipodentatus, or if you have to acclimate any others to your water parameters, all Synodontis are compatible with African cichlids. These fish are bottom feeders, and they will feed off all the extra food at the bottom. They are not algae eaters, so they're just kind of a fun fish to have around. Red-tailed sharks are from Asia, but they adapt to the African cichlids' water parameters. They are semi-aggressive and grow to about 6 inches, making them a perfect tank mate for African cichlids. These fish originate from Madagascar. They're considered an African cichlid, but not a Rift Lake cichlid, so that's why they're in this list. And they are compatible with their Rift Lake cousins. They are amazing, they can grow to over 8 inches long, so make sure your tank is big enough to house them. They're peaceful omnivores and will thrive in a peacock or hap tank as long as it's big enough. The most popular species of this fish is the Paratilapia bleakeri and the Paratilapia polleni, the starry night cichlid. The only difference between the 2 species is the size of their stars. So the Bleakery stars are technically a little bit bigger than the Polleni. But frankly, I've kept both and even I can't tell the difference. Whether it's the Polleni or the Bleakery, the males will get bigger than the females, but both the sexes will be black with stars. It's about time I talk about jewel cichlids a little bit on my channel. I haven't given them much love, and I'm sorry to all my fans who keep on telling me to talk about them. I will make a whole video about these fish in the future, do not worry. It's in the works. So contrary to popular belief, jewels are African cichlids, not American cichlids. They come from the West African rivers. Hemichromis are an omnivorous, semi-aggressive species that are usually added to an Mbuna aquarium, but they also are compatible with peacocks and haps. They will become bright red, mixed with other colors depending on the strain available at your local fish store. There are plenty of species found on the market, all with very little physical differences. Unfortunately, most local fish stores rarely receive the well-identified jewel cichlids, and it's extremely difficult to find a certain strain. But if you're not difficult, all the strains are beautiful. For this fish, I suggest only adding one of them to your tank. When they're mating, they become extremely aggressive and will chase all the other fish into a corner in the tank. Also, if the couple doesn't get along, the female will have her will known by killing off the male, in hopes that you buy her one that she actually likes. Now we're done with fish that can be added with African cichlids. Let's check out the fish to avoid. Not only do community fish not support the Rift Lake water parameters, for the most part, they will get eaten up by the cichlids. Some community fish come from Africa, but the water pools they come from have very different parameters as the Rift Lakes. Some aquarists have had success with tetras and certain barbs, but it's kind of risky to add them. Goldfish and koi, unfortunately, don't have many fish that they're compatible with because they thrive in low temperatures. Also, goldfish are prone to developing fungus and can contaminate your aquarium. Oh, I have seen some nasty contaminations in my days. Corydoras are a peaceful fish who don't often get harassed by our cichlids. If it were up to behavior alone, they would be compatible with most African cichlids. Unfortunately, they require a much lower pH, GH, and KH than Rift Lake cichlids. So if you want to add a bottom feeder, I suggest adding a Synodontis, as we saw earlier in the video. You will have a much healthier and happier aquarium. Bottom of the line, American cichlids need different water parameters as African cichlids. Certain aquarists have kept certain species of tougher American cichlids like convicts, parrots, Jack Dempsey with Rift Lake African cichlids by adapting the fish to a middle ground water parameter, so like a pH of 7.5 or stuff like that. You should proceed with caution when mixing these fish together. I don't suggest doing this because you're not giving any of the cichlids their ideal home. So basically you can do it, but it's really not ideal for everyone. You're best off just splitting them, and you have to tell your significant other that you're gonna need another tank for your American cichlids. It's win-win. As for the more fragile cichlids such as Discus, Angels, Ramirezi, they would not last long with most African cichlids, especially the ones from Lakes Malawi and Victoria. When I talk about algae eaters, I mean the Siamese Chinese algae eaters as well as the Otocinclus. If you want a good, hardworking algae eater, get an Ancistrus. I made a whole video about them. They're just awesome. Don't go anywhere else. Don't waste your money on other fish. Leave those for the tropical fish or the community tanks. African cichlids such as crebensis and buffalo heads. Ironically, these African cichlids aren't compatible with African cichlids. Crebensis cichlids and buffalo heads are from Africa, but they shouldn't be kept with the Rift Lake cichlids. Not only do they thrive in much lower pH values, their behavior just isn't compatible. Well, especially not with the Mbunas, maybe with the haps and like Tanganyika fish, but you're gonna have trouble adjusting the water parameters for this fish. That's it. Rift Lake African cichlids have specific compatibility. Even in between Rift Lake cichlids, certain compatibility issues can occur. Before adding a fish, always do a bit of research. Don't expect your local fish store or anyone else to do it for you. If you're not sure, look for blog articles that talk about that specific fish. I'll put a couple of links in the video description of websites that I like that have a lot of information and blog articles about specific fish. Although if you are watching these videos, you're probably currently informing yourself on fish, so good for you! So that's it for today. I hope you liked this video. What fish have you successfully mixed in with your African cichlids? And which ones do you advise that other people avoid? Write them down in the comment section. I love reading your comments. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure not to miss a single video. I have plenty coming up. If you want more fishy content in between my videos, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, on TikTok, and I have a great website where you can shop online and see all the fish I have for sale. I own a local fish store in Terrebonne, Quebec. That's right outside of Montreal, and we're open to the public. So make sure to stop by if you're around. If you like this fabulous Cichlid Geek t-shirt, you can get your own in my Teespring store. Fish Geek is also available, and all the shirts you get encourage me to continue doing what I'm doing. Thank you to everyone who supports me in my Teespring store, in my YouTube channel, and in my actual physical store. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye!